The semis in the Big 3 are in Dallas this Friday. The final, of course, is next Friday in Brooklyn. I love the fact some really big names are playing at a really high. The level has jumped. Yes. I told you personally off air last year that the Big 3 became a thing, but it had a next step in it. It feels like there's a next step, that the talent is, no disrespect to season 1, but pronouncedly better, if that's a word, in season 2. Fair?
Yeah, fair enough, for sure. You know, guys, they didn't even know what to expect season 1. You know, even though they signed up, they showed up in Brooklyn. It was 15,000 people out there, and I saw some 15-year vets' eyes get this big, you know, because they realized, man, I'm back in the arena, and too much pride, too much legacy. I knew they had to go hard, and they went hard, but they wasn't really in shape for that. This year, they know what to expect. They knew how taxing our version of 3-on-3 can be, and you have to come in shape to be successful. And the second-year guys came in shape, and our guys who have the big names who you know, didn't play last year, you know, their tongues was hanging out for the first few weeks. And I think next year they'll come back even more in shape. And so guys are realizing this pro sports, this ain't just the you know, rec center. And they're preparing for it.
No, the level of physicality is also something that guys, you know, it's one thing to have a big body lean on you at the YMCA or playing pickup ball. It's another thing to have a pro big body leaning on you.
Yeah, that know how to do it right.
Yes.
And, you know, Keith Bogans played in his first game last week, and he came over. He said, man, this ain't what I'm used to. Yeah. And that's what you want to hear. You want to hear that it's not easy in there. Guys are playing hard. It's a physical game that I grew up loving. You know, I grew up Daryl Dawkins fan, Moses Malone, you know, the Artist Gilmores of the world, you know, bruisers on the inside.
Even if you go back to the 90s when the Heat and the Knicks were fighting in the playoffs, like that was a brutally physical, tough basketball. And most of these guys were in that era, or just starting or ending in that era. And that's, I think, the best embodiment of it. In trying to explain how it's different for LeBron. It's not taken away from LeBron, but the league is different now. It's much more finesse, much more threes. This is probably look, this is maybe a little bit more physical, but about as physical as it was then.
You know, it's a game that I believe, you know, big boys in the paint, you know, little boys on the outside. And if you want to go in that paint, you consider yourself a big boy, and you got to handle yourself accordingly.
Okay, so let's see here. Corey Maggette and Katino Mobley's team, Power, taking on Tri-State, and three-headed monster, that's Rashard Lewis, Reggie Evans, taking on Three's Company. That's, of course, Baron Davis, L.A. legend, Drew League legend, and had he not torn his knee at UCLA, I think he would have gone down as one of the 20 best players in the history of the league. And Baron Davis had some moments in the NBA with the Warriors when he was in top shape, but people forget what a freak he was before he tore his knee at UCLA.
Without a doubt. You know, even in the Big 3, you know, most guys take a minute to warm up to the league. You know, first 2 or 3 games, he out there showing out, you know, putting up 20. So it just shows you what kind of player he still is, but you can imagine what he used to be in the league and in college, you know, especially if he wouldn't have tore up his knee.
Big 3 co-founder and CEO Ice Cube, kind enough to join us here in The Herd. Coming up next, Ezekiel Elliott. Thanks so much, Cube.
Hey, man, thanks for having me.